Hello everyone, on a certain rainy day in May I was spending my time once again exploring the annals and alleyways of the complex world of watch media, only to stumble across a video made by the great Watchfinder & Co. This video was detailing a new micro-brand in the market, a brand that began from some humble roots in a crowdfunding platform, to winning awards as an established Swiss micro-brand called FURLAN MARRI. The moment I saw the watch, it piqued my interest. It was a chronograph, originally priced at $350 in the Kickstarter campaign and now sitting comfortably at around $600, which genuinely surprised me until I took a look at its specifications. It's got a Seiko VK64, a quartz movement that could be found in watches that cost less than $100. I was under the impression that this new cool brand successfully made a Swiss chrono under the $1,000 mark, or maybe even made use of the seagull chrono movement. I would genuinely be happy with that. But instead, it's a watch with a reliable but cheap Japanese mecha quartz chronograph that tries to justify its own price through decent finishing and a good strap, but is assembled in China nonetheless. Now, I'm not saying that everything made in China is of bad quality, but if there is one factory in China that could make something like this, there has got to be another that could make something similar. That brings me to today's watch. This watch, call it a FURLAN MARRI homage, call it a vintage Patek homage, call it whatever you want. All I can say is that this is one of the most surprising $100 watches that I have bought to date. This watch, oddly named Mysterious Code, or in Chinese, 神秘代码, has been on AliExpress for quite a while, but unfortunately has stayed hidden from the media, only surfacing recently on the occasional Reddit post. The watch is made of stainless steel and comes with, you guessed it, the same movement that is found in the FURLAN MARRI, a mecha quartz TMI VK64A, which is basically the Seiko VK64A with a different stamp on the back. The watch comes in at a thickness of 13.3mm, including the domed crystal, a diameter of 40 and a lug to lug of 47.7mm, which fits beautifully to a wide range of wrist sizes, but of course best for a medium wrist size of around 7 inches. The watch has a design reminiscent to some vintage chronographs by the likes of Patek Philippe, Tissot, and many other companies at the time, but seems to take most of its inspiration from old Patek references, specifically the reference 130, while the FURLAN MARRI takes inspiration from what seems to be the reference 1463. These old chronos are one of the most everlasting and iconic designs of our time, looking good today as they did all those decades ago. The watch is made of 316L stainless steel and comes with a beautifully domed K1 hardened mineral crystal sitting above the dial and another displaying the VK64A movement in all its glory. Now, what the hell is K1 hardened mineral crystal? Well, from my research I have deduced that it's just an off-brand version of hardlex, very similar to the hardlex that Seiko uses for almost all of their watches. This means that the domed mineral crystal on this watch has a scratch resistance that sits right between regular mineral crystals from the likes of Casio and sapphire crystals from all sorts of other brands. This crystal also includes a layer of blue anti-reflective coating as well. The finishing on this watch is nothing super complex and definitely incomparable to the $600 FURLAN MARRI, but genuinely still makes the watch look good. The watch is polished all over with a smooth mirror polish, no sharp edges whatsoever can be found, even on the back of the watch itself, something that many watches in this price range tend to forget about, like my Pagani designed Daytona homage. The crown sitting on the right of the watch is a large, slightly scratchy screw-down crown that is very comfortable to use, while the pushers that sit above and below are smooth to the touch and actually very tactile. The pushers on this watch beat out the screw-down pushers on my Pagani designed Daytona homage, which often misfires when I push it down. The pushers here click down with a crisp feedback click that makes it feel as though it's a mechanical chronograph instead of a quartz one, which I really like. One of the more major pros of this watch is the dial, which comes in many colors like this, and this, and has a set of extremely beautiful Breguet styled hour markers lining near the circumference. These Breguet hour markers are more difficult to make due to their complexity, and when executed properly makes the dial extremely pleasing to stare at. The dial also comes with a set of nice mirror polished hands too. As mentioned above, the caseback is a display caseback made with a piece of clear K1 hardened crystal, showing off the TMI VK64A at the back. This small window is surrounded by a ring of stainless steel etched with the brand name and an actual serial number. Yes, you heard that right. These watches are numbered, and this number is actually written for you on the warranty card I got in the box, which also states the 1 year of warranty I received along with the watch, compared to other brands like Pagani Design and Cadison, where you would receive a blank card that usually has really bad printing. Now, this is not something I often talk about and frankly have ever talked about up until now. This watch came with a really decent quality box. The watch sits in a long coffin Apple style box with stiff cardboard side walls and some really quality printed designs wrapped around it. The bottom section slowly but very easily slides out, with the only thing holding it on being a slight vacuum created by the increasing inner volume as you pull her top off. Inside, you see a cushioned platform where your new watch lays, the case and buckle covered in a thick protective PVC film, the same kind you would find covering up luxury watches at certain authorized dealers. This PVC film is useful in protecting watches during transport or when you are using some screwdrivers on it. On one side is your warranty card and an actually well printed instruction manual, with the warranty card containing some actual information about your watch, unlike the cards from most of the other $100 Chinese brands. The card also contains a link to a website that doesn't exist. One may say that all this fluff is just a waste of money, but hey, a good presentation does impress. Now let's get to one downside of this watch. The strap. I'm gonna be honest, the strap isn't very good. It's really comfortable, looks good, and the buckle is made really well, but I have this slight inkling that it probably won't last longer than a year of consistent wear. The strap that comes with this watch pairs nicely with the watch. It comes in different colors for all the other colorways, but it's just one of those generic China-made leather straps with genuine leather stamped on the back. Though this is most definitely solvable with a simple strap change once the stock one decides to die on you. Now, one of the most major drawing points of this mysterious code timepiece is the dial. It's stunning, albeit there are one or two extremely small specks of dust on it. The main attraction of the dial is the beautifully crafted Bergeon style hour markers. These hour markers are actually raised and have a three-dimensional shape to them. They are mirror polished, resulting in a shine that pops out of the dial, enhancing the look of the watch even further. Along with these numeral markers are small pips for 3 and 9 sitting right next to the sub-dials of the watch. The sub-dial on the right is a 24-hour display, while the sub-dial on the left is a chronograph minutes counter. The tiny hands on these sub-dials are not super well made, I might add, but are so small that one can hardly notice. But when it comes to the central hands of this watch, it's quite the opposite. The curved leaf style hands on this watch are polished really well and give off the same shine as the hour markers do. This makes the overall watch look exceptionally distinct, even more so than most of its competitors around the price range. Sitting in the circumference of the dial is a tachymeter, which allows a user to measure the speed at which an object is going via the time. Not that anyone would logically do that nowadays, but hey, it works. The movement that sits snug in the watch is a Seiko VK64A, and when I say snug, I mean snug. The one special thing I found when I opened up the watch to have a closer look was that the case, in this case, pun intended, doesn't actually have a movement spacer, meaning this stainless steel case was made to fit the TMI VK64A and only the VK64A, or any other movement with the same dimensions. This is unlike many of the other watches that make use of this same movement, like the Pagani Design Daytona and the Pagani Design Speedmaster homage. This eliminates any sort of play in the movements, which may result in a misaligned dial as we've seen before in the Corju Black Bay homage, and is probably the contributor to how nice the pushes feel. So kudos to the brand for putting in some actual effort into its design. This also means that this mysterious code watch is a front-loading watch, which means the movement is cased from the dial side by removing the crystal and bezel. However, one weird thing about this movement is the fact that there is still a date wheel attached to it. You can still set the date and there will still be an audible click around nighttime when the date passes over, but it's not something I'll be bothered about, to be fully honest. This watch on AliExpress sits at a nice $102 and could possibly be cheaper during a sale. The mysterious code vintage chrono is genuinely one of the most brilliant watches I have ever seen at this price, just barely peeking over even the likes of Pagani Design in terms of value. I would genuinely recommend it to anyone looking for something really affordable or something to just wear with not much fear of damaging, because if you ignore the god-awful name, for the looks, the presentation, the value and the functionality, there is little to none that could beat it. Link is in the description. Plus, Mysterious Code as a watch company in China do make some really interesting pieces like these Pelage Dial Beauties that use a VH31 second sweeping quartz movement, this really cool digital styled watch with what could be a jump hour complication that makes use of a modified 8215, and this one with an orbital hour complication that also makes use of a modified Miyota 8215 movement. These special pieces seriously amaze me, and I sincerely hope I can review them somehow in the future. Well, I hope you enjoyed this review on what could be the newest great value watch in the market. Do show some love to this special Chinese watch brand. Link for all the watches I have mentioned is in the description. Remember to subscribe if you like my content and leave a like and comment to let me know what's going on in life. Once again, thank you for watching and have a very nice day.